about to go to bed. Well, I was already in bed. I was already asleep, and I randomly, I don't know. Actually, I do know. I woke up to a knocking sound in my brain. Somebody's knocking, so, uh, you know, you don't answer that. You do not check. You wake up. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you what I got into this summer. This summer, I got obsessed with a show. You can watch all episodes on YouTube. Um, it's called Eternal Love of Dream. It's a Chinese flick. In fact, it inspired Aaron so much he started wearing a ninja bun for a while. And he can't read it because it's all in Chinese. It's subtitles. But he was feeling it, all right. I randomly started watching it. It started coming up in my algorithm. This and Blue Whisper, right? So I started watching these, and let me tell you, I'm about to tell you the synopsis, and you're just going to be like, oh, wow, wow. Okay, so I'm going to read the synopsis to you, okay? This has been on my mind because I'm probably going to watch it again. And I might even give spoiler alert. If you plan on watching this, I'm about to spoil all of it, but it's totally fucking worth it, okay? So, when she was little, Bai Fangzhu once got lost in Monster Realm, where she was attacked by a savage beast and rescued by Dong Hua. Feeling grateful and indebted, Fangzhu is determined to repay this life debt. With the help of Si Ming, she enters Taishan Palace, where Dong Hua lives, and she becomes a fairy maid. To save him from the Ten Lotus Ward, which is like a demon realm, she exchanges her nine-tailed fox fur for some of Nai Xuan, and he is a demon, for some of his magic, okay? Thus turns into an ordinary one-tailed fox, which he then brings back to his palace and raises as a pet. Dong Hua does. Eventually, her gratitude to him changes into love, which it come to find out she was in love with him the whole time. She greatly admired Dong Hua growing up. He was a god, and he had vanquished the Demon King, okay? And the Demon King, he had captured the Demon King and put the Demon King in some type of fortress, okay? Very similar to the storyline behind it is very similar to Revelations. But anyways, Dong Hua is then persuaded to, because, okay, so here's, when he saved Fangzhu in Monster Realm, which is actually Demon Realm, right? He wasn't supposed to be there. He trespassed in order to save her. And the demon said, well, you gotta marry my sister if you want to get out of this, okay? Because you're not supposed to be here. So his sister's name is Jay Hong. And so when she comes up there, Fangzhu is wounded physically by Jay Hong's pet, which is a lion, and she is mentally wounded by Dong Hua's decision to marry Jay Hong. And the reason this is because she was doing stuff like, as a fox, in her fox form, she was doing stuff like creating weapons and making paintbrushes and stuff with the help of one of her friends, because her friends was aware it was her, you know what I'm saying? And Jay Hong took credit for her work. So, Feng Zhu leaves Taishan Palace and returns to her home. And Dong Hua ends up searching for her but fails to find her because he did not realize that she was the princess of King. I don't remember how to pronounce these. King Ku, I think. So Feng Zhu repays her life debt to Dong Hua by helping him in his mortal trial. She is quickly indebted again, but this time to a mortal named King Ti, who died to save her life. She returns to the mortal realm with a promise to revive him. Okay, so there's different realms that they're living on. Okay, Dong Hua lives in heaven. She lives in an immortal realm, but she's not a god. And then they can venture off into mortal realm. All right. So Dong Hua and Feng Zhu encounter each other several times, both in Queen Q and in heaven. Dong Hua quickly takes interest in her because she uh, has no interest in anyone. And she's like turning down dates and shit, and goes over to a date and like totally ruins it on purpose. And he they were calling her kind of like problematic because, you know, they're trying to marry her off and shit, and she's just not interested in that. In an attempt to avoid Dong Hua, Feng Zhu turns herself into a handkerchief, which is taken by Dong Hua and claimed as his own. In Dong Hua's battle against Yan Qiwu, and Yan Qiwu is in love with Zhe Hong, the princess of the demon realm, right? So he thinks that he has Dong Hua. He thinks Yang Chu thinks that Dong Hua has like captured the princess or some shit. It's like he thinks that they're in competition for this woman. But he's not. Dong Hua doesn't want her. Dong Hua does not want her. I can't remember why exactly. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. So, I'll tell you right now. Zhe Hong wanted to be with her guard. Her guard had protected her all her life, right? Since they were children. They grew up together. Come to find out, the guard is a woman. But she disguised herself as a man all her life, so she never knew. Zhe Hong never knew that her guard was a woman. And they ran off together and left Dong Hua at the altar. But somebody did show up to the wedding. It was his stepsister. So dramatic. So he was pissed. He was pissed not because he didn't really want Zhe Hong. Okay, well, he didn't want Zhe Hong. He let her go. He actually let her go run off with her guard. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't expecting anybody at the wedding day. So somebody shows up, it's his stepsister, and he can't believe his stepsister is that crazy. So he kicks her out of the god realm. So funny, so funny. Okay. So he also knew that Feng Zhu was the handkerchief when he took her. But when he gets in this fight with Yan Shiwu, he's like a general in demon realm. Okay, he's in love with Zhe Hong. He thought that he would marry Zhe Hong because he's also known her since childhood. Had no idea that her brother had done this little deal. Had no idea that Jae-hong was in love with her guard. They all were shocked when they found out that Jae-hong's guard was a woman, and they actually killed her because they were trying to run off and they were breaking the deal that was supposed to keep the peace between the god realm and the demon realm, right? Okay. I'm telling you a lot, but it's important. Okay. So, um in Dong Hua's battle against Yan Shiwu, a cyclone sweeps both him and Feng Zhu into Fanyan Valley, and not Dong Hua. Shiwu and Feng Zhu are swept into Fanyan Valley. Now, Fanyan Valley is where the Demon King is, and most people can't go down there. Like, you can only go down there like once a year. There's people that live down there, but they don't leave. And so 6 months later, the only person that can go enter as they please is Dong Hua. He has some kind of magical powers that allows him to like bend space time. All right, so Dong Hua goes down to the valley, and Feng Zhu, she registers for a competition because she wants to revive the mortal that died for her. Um, until Dong Hua trains Feng Zhu to prepare her for the competition. Now, upon winning, Feng Zhu is soon disappointed to find out that the prize has been switched to Peaches, and her heart is broken because Jang Hong is there. Guess what? Jang Hong is there. And Dong Hua wants to help Jang Hong because she has some kind of illness that he has to keep tending to. So he took this fruit that was supposed to be, I don't know what you heard. Dong Hua wanted Dong Hua thought that she wanted to win this fruit so she could share it with the demon. Okay, she's actually won the loyalty of the demon. The demon is he's not like in love with her or anything, but he won't do anything for her, and that bothered Dong Hua. Like, he was very jealous, so he decided he was going to take the fruit that she rightfully won and give it over to the other chick. And he's also doing this because this whole time he didn't know that she was the fox that saved his life. He remembered, he realized, oh, you're the chick I saved in the demon realm, and you're the reason why I'm fucking dealing with Jae-hong in the first place. You owe me. But he didn't know that she was the fox that saved his life. So she already paid that debt. Then he didn't know that she was in the mortal realm. So when he was in the mortal realm, he has to experience karma in order to regenerate in the god realm, right? And she helped him do that. He didn't know about that, right? So he's punishing her because he doesn't realize that she's already repaid his debt twice. Okay, so she is determined to get this fruit at all costs. So she comes to the snake's maze where this fruit is kept and enters Aranya's dream. Now, Aranya's dream is like one of the most interesting parts of the story. It's them still. So each time they're living themselves in different realms or in different lifetimes, right? So in this dream, Dong Hua is told, he's like, hey, wait, hey, why is she doing this? And someone's like, cause she already paid your debt, motherfucker, and you just took her fruit. You just took her winning. And so he decides he's going to go in there too. You have to live out the whole dream. You have to live out like, you have to live as the people in the dream. Okay. So in this dream, Aranya dies wrongfully because her sisters and her mother hated her so much that they were doing fucked up shit to her to get her caught up. They set her up and made her look like she was a an adulteress. Um, they set her up and tried to catch her house on fire. I mean, they did all types of fucking shit to her, and it caused, because she was the actual um, because she was the actual person and Donghua was the actual person, they were able to right the wrongs because Donghua in this lifetime didn't help her. So when they go back to relive this, he does everything the right way, and it comes out in the city because this is like the queen's sister or something like that. It comes out in the city that the queen, the reason she's even in her position is because she killed her sister. All right, so um, now you can, as you're listening, those who know this know my life and what's been going on, and it's not the most interesting thing to watch. Right? Um, or the Empress, because this is Emperor Empress times, not really king queen times. So she's only in 1717. She's only an empress because she killed her sister, right? So Donghua does right by her in the dream, and in saving her life, because the only way you can get out of the dream is to live it exactly as it was supposed to be, or whatever, whatever. So they get out of the dream. They both realize they have feelings for each other, and she's able to repay her debt to the mortal. Now, he told her in the dream, "I'm going to marry you when we get out of here." She's like, "You're playing a trick on me because you keep fucking with me, you keep fucking with my head, blah blah blah." He's like, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna marry you this time." And so on their wedding day, Donghua does not show up because Jaehong, this bitch, the princess of the demon realm, emotionally blackmails him and compels him to stay single forever. And he actually had a debt to her anyway. And it wasn't to her, it was to her father. Her father was like some kind of dragon king, and he made a promise to always care for his daughter. So he didn't have, that's why he didn't have a problem with like the arranged marriage and shit like that, because he made a promise to her father. But when compelled, he would do what she wanted. So she wanted to run off with the guard. She could have been married to him already. She wanted to run off with the guard. So then she had the audacity to come over here and be like, "You can't marry anybody." He's like, "Bitch." He took her back. He took her back to her brother and said, your sister is crazy. She's not allowed to leave here." I'm over this shit. She's not allowed to leave here. It's driving me crazy, right? But he and he also was supposed to go to the fortress to ensure that the demon king was still locked up, because the demon realm was experiencing a lot of adversity. They were missing like 300 something demons because the demon king was eating the demons, trying to get stronger to get out, right? So he actually left old girl and went to go handle the demon king. Well, his all Fang Zhu heard was that he left with old girl. She didn't get the message that he was going to fight the demon king or whatever. So she was mad, you know what I'm saying? And she ended up going to mortal realm, and upon leaving, found out she was pregnant. So he's about to go. The demon king breaks out. There's nothing he can do. He's gonna have to go fight. Donghua is gonna have to go fight. So he gives her a ring made of half of his heart. which she refuses, because he embarrassed her. He left her at the altar and shit. So she then accidentally receives news. Someone comes to tell her, like, yo, Dong Hua is about to die. You didn't know he was going to battle? Because nobody told her. She was in mortal realm. The funny thing is that I realized, okay, they said that one day in mortal realm was like a year. So 3 days, like in heaven, 3 days in heaven was like 3 years in mortal realm, right? So, anyways, uh, they then tell her all the things that he's done to help her, right? So, hey, the reason he left you at the altar is because he was fighting the Demon King. And did you know that that ring is half of his heart? It's not just like some kind of. Did you know? Did you know that he, um, because in order to go into the dream, he had been, for like 100,000 years, he had been cultivating. So what they cultivating is like powering up. He had been powering up so that he could fight the Demon King. But in order to go save her, he had to release like 75% of all the power that he had, um, cultivated. So even the power that she helped him acquire when he went to mortal realm, he lost all of it just to save her. And so when he went to go fight the Demon King, he didn't actually have the power to fight the Demon King because he tried to save her. She didn't know that. So, all these misunderstandings between these two people, she actually became a god. And they were able to defeat the Demon King together. But she was severely injured. Someone was in care of her son. At this point, Dong Hua did not know that he had a son. Okay, um, and so he finally meets his son, and when he meets his son, she's wearing the heart ring, and that ring helps revive her. What? Oh God, it was such a beautiful little show. Okay, they both apologize for their mistakes, and Dong Hua announces GMT as his successor should he die. All right, so that's the guy that she saved, the mortal that she turned him immortal. Okay, so this is what I watched all summer. 56 episodes. I was intrigued. Aaron was intrigued. Uh, it was beautiful. Okay, the imagery and just the storyline in general. Um, I loved it because it reminds me of someone I know. But he was like, he was the head honcho. He was that god. He was single. A lot of people were concerned about his singlehood and his bachelor life, and it was just because he couldn't find anybody that was as awesome as him. And this chick did it, right? So that is my thoughts before going to bed, because I'm thinking I'm probably gonna watch that shit again. It was called Eternal Love of Dream, and at first it was kind of confusing, but once I figured out what was going on, I was like, oh my God, this is absolutely fucking, this is my life on the big screen. She literally won the loyalty of a demon. He ended up helping in the end to like save them and shit. And he ended up getting the girl too. The princess, the demon princess, she realized that he was actually loving her the whole time and she was rejecting her love. And she's like, I've been acting out. I've been so terrible. Oh my gosh, I should be with you. You've always been there for me. I don't know why I got obsessed with Dong Hua. I'm sorry. Everybody found love at the end. Everybody found love, even the demons. Okay? So, y'all have a good evening.